vinylfanatics.com, a website devoted to vinyl records, based in Europe, but obviously we get a lot of our interest from America, as well as around the world, probably mainly the English-speaking world. And we are talking to Manish and Eric from Furnace Manufacturing. Is that right?
Correct. That's correct.
In the USA. And how would you describe yourselves?
Well, we started the company in 1996 as a kind of an offshoot of our of the company I used to run called Lumberjack Distribution, which was a record, CD, and general music distribution company. And this was back before everyone had computers and could design things on their own. And so I did a lot of that stuff for my record label at the time. And people came to me and said, "Hey, can you help me put out a CD, or can you design a record cover?" So I was doing a lot of that work already. And as most people know, in the distribution game, it's kind of hard to make a go of it. So we were making more money doing kind of helping people put out records, doing design and brokering out either pressing or printing services than we were doing the actual distribution. So when we sold the distribution company, I had spun Furnace off into kind of a broker, and we've been doing it ever since.
And who are your customers?
When we started, it was almost all independent musicians and record labels. And since we live outside of Washington, D.C., where there's a lot of government and corporate work, as well as associations and nonprofits, in the late 90s into 2000, we kind of did a strategic move to kind of diversify into a little bit more of the corporate and government market. Just because we saw Napster kind of pop up, and we started to see people gravitate away from CDs. Way back then, it's nothing like it is now, but we kind of saw the writing on the wall, and so we have right now we have a good mix of mainly either really big record labels, really small record labels, or kind of your independent musician and band. And that's with the corporate and the publishing work that we do, that's kind of what makes up our clientele.
Right. And both when and why did you get into the vinyl business? Because that's fairly new for you, isn't it?
Well, we were doing vinyl when we first started, and the interest in vinyl kind of fell off the face of the earth in the late 90s, it's with the downturn in physical CD and DVD sales, CD on the audio side, we saw vinyl starting to become more readily available. And as running your site, vinyl never died in the late 80s. The labels, major labels killed it.
Yeah.
And the record stores kind of followed suit because they can make more money and store more product in their stores with CDs than they could with vinyl. So the interest in vinyl is overall has kind of never gone away. It's just it seems like in the last 5 years it's gotten more and more popular as people started to sour on the traditional buying of a CD or buying a digital download. And so when we saw that in the U.S. there was kind of a market to go after, which is high quality pressing of vinyl, we heard from more and more of our clients that there's one domestic plant that is considered audiophile quality, and the wait times and the lead times on pressing was sometimes 3-4 months to get anything out, and a lot of the large major labels they were basically getting rationed, and we were told, we can press 20 or 30,000 records for you this month. What do you want to do? And when we saw that as being the norm in the vinyl pressing business, we said, there's a need to be met there, and we kind of pursued it, and that's what I think has led to our quick success in the vinyl business.
That's great. I see, obviously, you do a lot of stuff for Warner, and so I have a few of those releases, and I have to say they're great. Like, everything is kind of high quality. You know, the packaging is very high quality, good kind of cardboard and so on. The vinyl itself, of course, is both heavyweight, flat, and kind of very well pressed, which is always nice. And I know with Warner particularly, they kind of put a lot of trouble into the mastering and the cutting of the actual lacquers and from the original tapes and so on, so you kind of get a really high quality product, then a nice polythene bag which doesn't warp the records and so on. So I don't know what I'm going to say, but
well, I think that that's driven from the top down, actually. The general manager of the label group, he's been a big fan of vinyl. I mean, he's a music lover. He's a vinyl buyer. I actually met several of the people that we work with at Warner at the last WFMU record fair in New York City, and they're actively buying vinyl all the time. It's not, for them, it's not a trend that they're going after. They're taking advantage of something that people, their customers want, but they're also doing it to a quality that they expect and that they demand when they buy vinyl. So for them, it's always been you can look back at what they've released in the past and what they are now releasing through, working with Furnace. Their quantities have gone up. The amount of releases that they're planning and that they've been releasing for the last 6 months have gone up because of just the sheer capacity that we've been able to bring to the market. So this is something that they've spotted a long time ago, and as you said, it's quality stuff, and they share a view that I share, which is, if record labels in general and major labels in particular are going to win back any of the physical product market, they're going to have to do it with quality, because a bunch of the old guys like ourselves, we've collected vinyl, we've played vinyl for a long time, and we like the format, and we know the differences between maybe not such good quality vinyl and good quality vinyl. And myself, I buy the stuff that when I know where it's pressed and I know it's good quality. If you're trying to turn people, new people onto the format, let's say a college kid or even a high school kid that just bought their first turntable and have heard and read that the vinyl format is superior to a CD, which it is if it's done right, and then they go out and they buy something that's pressed at a plant that may not have quality as their number one priority, they're going to listen to it and they're going to say, who said that vinyl sounds better than a CD? That sounds like crap. And that's obviously something that I think is very important. So I think it's a bit short-sighted for people that especially people that are worried about physical sales of music, to press where it's convenient, because it's been shown that people will buy it, they'll pay a little extra for it, and if you're trying to turn on a new generation to the format, it's got to be good quality, it's got to be good packaging, because you're trying to for major labels, they don't make any money on digital sales. They're making next to nothing on CD sales anymore, and they're making a lot of money on vinyl. So to increase those sales, I think, and I stress to my clients that press a good record, and when you press a good record, you're gonna sell more records. People are you're gonna have more and more people that are gonna buy the format as their first choice in music purchasing, and I think that as more and more people see that as the reality, I think that our spot in the marketplace will be highlighted and spotlighted, because we're going to be the people on the forefront of that of that niche of the business.
And what kind of numbers are you talking about? Because obviously it's still very much a niche business, and you say they're kind of making money on vinyl, but I mean, how many records do they need to press to make money on it? I kind of always thought